What's going on? What's going on? All right, you know what time it is. You know what rhyme it is. It is A6, the Foreign National Born Natural. We are live and direct, live in effect on this beautiful Friday night. The weather was not too bad today, man. It was actually pretty solid. I'm getting comments in the comment section saying no sound. Can y'all hear me? Can y'all hear me? Yeah, I think we good. I'm not sure. I don't know. Maybe the music wasn't playing. I don't know. But look, I got a special guest for you guys tonight. All right, y'all gonna be happy. We got my man on here. A lot of people ask me about him, and let me tell you something. This dude is the truth. And when I say truth, I mean that with a capital T. Give it up for your boy and my man's Jonah Bey. Oh, what's good, fam?
What's up? What's up? How's it going? Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. We can hear you pretty good,
All
man.
right.
We cold chilling, man. You know, we get on here and we just chop it up, fam.
Good, good. Yeah, we couldn't hear no music or nothing. So that's what the problem was. When you came in, we could hear you.
That's interesting, yeah, because I never had that problem before.
Well, you do got me on here. I don't know if you advertised or not, but if you did, that could be a problem.
I didn't advertise it though. That's the thing. Like I saw you. Sometimes they mess with your stream. They didn't cut me off.
What they do, they track my IP address to see everything I'm doing.
Watch, word. That makes sense. That makes sense.
Well, you know, lately the stuff I've been releasing is causing them major problems.
I've heard, yeah.
Major problems. You know, I released the 241, 242, 1983 lawsuit. Now, you know, I've been teaching Constitution, how to enforce it, like Noble Drew Ali said, enforce the Constitution for like 11 years straight.
Right.
And then I said, all right, now it's time for me to show y'all if they don't want to follow the Constitution, this is the lawsuit you do. And I set up a template for them to do it with ease.
Right.
Then after that, I did the tax injunction.
Yeah, that was heavy right there.
You know what's mad? What got me pissed about that is, you know, it's constitutional principles, number one. Number two, it's less than a month, and we got 10 so-called teachers that's biting it 100%.
I've heard about the 0% dude stealing your work.
Yes.
Yeah.
0%. Then you got Brother Truth. Yes. Oh, he been. Everything he got is mine.
Wow.
Yeah, everything he got is mine except for one thing, which I don't teach because it don't work, which is the UCC process.
Yeah.
Then Yusef.
Yusufel?
Yup. Then you got some Asian dude. And then there's some other dude. I just learned about him today. Someone told me. I don't know this person's name. I haven't had a chance to look him up. But when I say I'm the teacher of teachers, I wasn't lying.
Facts. It looks like it, man. If you got everybody taking off your plate, that's crazy. So
I don't like it because I don't have a problem with if they're sharing the information and doing it properly. A lot of times they're taking shortcuts. They're taking stuff out of it to try to make it seem like it's theirs, but you can't because I'm using the Constitution directly. I'm using the law directly. So if you change that now, you change the Constitution, it won't work. Right. You got to quote that shit to the T.
Yeah.
And then you can write what you think about it after you quote it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's an issue. And then also what bothers me is, a lot of these people are charging way more than what I'm charging.
Word.
Which is crazy. So their intentions is to get new people, act like it's there, and charge them out the yin yang.
That's crazy.
So now I call that an agent move. You know why? Because say for instance, they get it from one of those guys. And if it's not complete or it's done wrong, then when they do find me, they're gonna say I already did it. Ain't no need to do it. No,
that ain't the case.
You did it wrong.
Yeah, right.
You
Absolutely.
did it wrong. It didn't have no effect because you didn't have the real deal.
Word,
You know,
word.
and then you got to understand when I make templates, I make it with mistakes on
Oh,
purpose.
really? Okay.
I already know they're going to try to steal it. So I make it with mistakes on purpose. And if you're studying with me, if you're on my shows, I would have taught what was
Yeah.
supposed to be done.
That's smart.
See, because I teach everyone the federal rules of procedure. Now, the federal rules of procedure, civil procedure, that's the rules that every court use, right? Now, they might
Yeah.
call it something else, but they all use the same rules. It's uniform, right? So if you know what the rules say, you'll have no problem fixing the template.
Right.
If you don't listen to me, you just got hold of it, you ain't gonna fix shit,
Right.
and it ain't gonna work.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know,
Absolutely.
I'm trying to preserve the information. I believe that all this information was out when Noble Drew Ali was here. The agents got a hold of it, switched it all up, nothing worked. No one knows how to do anything anymore.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
True, true. So let me ask you a question, man. You said
Yeah,
something very interesting. A lot of people here probably aren't going to catch. Why exactly doesn't the UCC process work? Like, what is the fault? What is the
the
critical
fault
fault?
in it is UCC itself says it doesn't work. That's UCC 9-311. And it says a UCC 1 is not necessary or effective against something that has a law, statute, or treaty attached to it, right? So your birth certificate, does it have laws connected to it? Of course.
Mm-hmm.
Social security number connected to it is a law, right? Then you got all these other laws and treaties and stuff that's connected to it. So therefore, that falls into the category you doing a UCC won't work, right? But in that same UCC, which is 9-311, it tells you that when you have something that has a title of ownership to it, it won't work, right? And they said if you do, you have to go get the title and then authenticate it, and it becomes the original. So when I taught everyone how to authenticate, it came from UCC 9-311. It told you to. So you got a whole bunch of people trying to do the secure party creditor process, which is the UCC. But they don't read the UCC. How the hell you gonna do something you don't know what to do? You ain't reading the goddamn rules to it.
Got you. Yeah. Yeah.
So basically, it don't work because you're not following the law. Now, I teach y'all how to do a non-UCC because you authenticate the birth certificate. Once you authenticate the birth certificate, you got to put an affidavit of ownership with it, right? And that's called a counter deed. And when you put it together like that, then you put it on a non-UCC and it's higher than the original one.
Wow. That's powerful, yo.
Now,
Yo, get this man a Don DeMarco, yo.
how does it work, Jonah? How does that work? What the fuck you mean it's higher than the original one? Well, number one, that birth certificate got the name of the owner on it. The owner is you.
Got you. Yeah.
Right? Now, of course, it's your name. It got your date. It got all that on it. Now, what happens is, for you to own stuff, let's say before 1933, before the national banking emergency, right? Called the bankruptcy. Now, before that time, if you had a farm, right, and a storm rolled through, right, and then your cattle got out, you got a neighbor that's a thief. You got a neighbor that is honest. The honest neighbor brings 4 of your cattle back. That's the 4 that was on his property. Like 25 of your cattle was at the thief's house. This dude then went and he didn't seen your brand on your cattle. He went and he made a branding iron that looks like your brand.
Wow.
Because he plans on stealing your cattle, 25 of them, right? So you go over there and you say, hey, you got my cattle, you know, got my cattle back. He gonna say, nah, these my cattle. This ain't your cattle. Yo, that's my brand on it. He pulls his brand out like, nah, I got that brand. Same brand. Well, the problem is, what he don't know is when you got your brand, you knew the law. So by knowing the law, you were supposed to take your branding iron, put it on a piece of paper, sign your name, get it notarized, and put it in the county. They call that registration. You got different forms of registration. A lot of times, registration in today's world, you register shit, you lose ownership.
Right.
But not when you're in the right jurisdiction, doing the right laws. You don't. It actually makes you the owner. So what happens is he took it down there to the county. The county took it and made a photocopy of it, filed it, and gave them back the original. That's how you know you're the owner. You keep the original paperwork with your signature, the wet signature and all that. So all he does is he calls the sheriff. The sheriff comes, he shows the sheriff his certificate from the county of when he had the copyright or the DBA, the certificate of ownership of that brand. So then sheriff goes sees the dude and say, hey, you got a certificate of ownership of when you had this brand? If not, you're actually doing copyright infringement.
Right.
And you're trying to steal his. Now, you're going to give up those cattle, and hopefully he don't come back and sue you for infringement. That's how that works, right?
Yeah.
So when you do authentication, you put the affidavit of ownership, and then you put it on the record down at the county in a non-UCC. You can do it as a non-UCC. You could also do an affidavit and put it in miscellaneous. That becomes the certificate of ownership that I talked about in my example.
Gotcha.
So it's higher than their version because all they have is certificates of birth certificates or certificates of live birth.
Okay.
Theirs aren't originals. If you look up the word certificate in Black Law's dictionary, it's going to tell you it's a copy.
Word.
That's like you, if you go take $1 out your pocket, put it in your printer, and you print out a copy, can you spend it? No, it's a copy.
Yeah.
So that's how that works. So all of that came from the UCC though, but people don't know that because they don't read it.
They don't want to read. Yeah. That's a huge problem too, man. I would go as far as to say the reason why people are getting hassled as much as they do when they're out here traveling and stuff like that is because they don't want to read. They just want to hear some stuff on the internet. They want to go, oh, look, I got my passport. I'm going to just do the private plate. And now you got a police officer pulling you over and asking you a bunch of questions.
That won't work.
Yeah.
Because if you take the word injunction, you look up the word injunction, right? And injunction means an order to stop someone from infringing on rights that you have or stop infringing on rights that you have, right? It's an order. You have to put an order on these people. If you don't, they're going to infringe on your rights. They don't know that you know you have them.
Right. 100%. Agreed.
You know? So that's the issue. You put a private plate, yo, you look like a nut. It says injunction. And an authoritative warning or order. Order, ruling, direction, directive. It says law, a judicial order that restrains a person from beginning or continuing an action threatening or invading the legal right of another, or that compels a person to carry out a certain act to make restitution to an injured party. So through injunctions is how we get restitution, aka it's called reparations.
Word.
Now, March 19th, I'm doing a webinar to show y'all how to do a treaty injunction where they're going to be forced to give us back what's ours as Moors. It's putting the proper claim in to get what's yours. But that's what I'm saying. If you know you got the right to travel, and I say, well, how do you know? Prove it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And most people wouldn't know how to break that down, right? Well, it's pretty simple. You got the right to travel in the Magna Carta, right? But some people haven't read the Magna Carta and they don't know how it applies either.
Mm.
So a lot of people like, well, that's the Magna Carta. That was law for England.
Right.
And I would tell you, hold on. Wasn't the 13 colonies England?
Interestingly enough, in the
Wasn't
Maryland
it called
Constitution.
New England?
Word.
So those laws that was a part of the 13 colonies would be the laws here. Those laws is now called treaties.
Okay.
Right? So the Magna Carta definitely applies here. But I don't even use the Magna Carta for the right to travel. You got something called the original Constitution, but people don't call it the original Constitution, but it is.
Mm-hmm.
It's called the Articles of Confederation.
Ah.
In the Articles of Confederation, it says ingress and regress. You look up those terms, it means to move freely from or to a place. That's the right to travel.
That's the right to travel, right?
Now, the very thing that gave America its name is the Articles of Confederation. Everything is built off of the Articles of Confederation. So the Article of Confederation is superior to the constitutions, all of them. First in time.
First in line.
First in line.
Hey, I'm amazed, man.
They consider superior. It's called, you can look in the United States Constitution, and they got something called the what's the name clause? The
supremacy clause?
Thank you. Supremacy clause.
Yeah.
That document is supreme over the Constitution.
Word.
Now, it is the Articles of Confederation that was connected to it was actually connected to the Treaty of Marrakesh. Y'all don't know it as the Treaty of Marrakesh. Y'all know it as the Peace and Friendship Treaty.
Okay.
So the Articles of Confederation was in full swing, and then George Washington asked the Sultan for permission to stop using the Articles and start using the Constitution.
So the Sultan of the Moors, basically.
Yes.
Huh. Damn. Yo, I just learned like a lot. I need to write some of this stuff down, dude, because my brain is about to explode.
Audio, you could go back and listen.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to, man. That is some. How long we got you for, man? I know you got stuff to do. A busy man. How much stuff?
Yo, you know, truthfully, y'all motherfuckers, boy, we supposed to do this way earlier.
Yeah. That was on me though, man.
I seen a note that said Sunday, and I'm like, I thought it was Friday.
Yeah, but you know what? You said Friday, and I'm like, since I messed it up the previous week, then I'm gonna go ahead and just whenever you can do it, I'll work around you. But
okay.
Yeah.
So no, I'm free. I came home to do it. That's why when I came home, I called y'all like, yo, y'all late, ain't you? You said 7. A little before 7. It's 6:45. See, one thing about me is I'm prompt on everything. I go everywhere early. A mentor of me, it was an old white Jewish guy, Larry Miller. He worked for a Fortune 10 company. It's called Cargill. It's actually a company that brings all the food in to America, like corn, all of that stuff.
Yeah.
See, because they don't let us eat our own food that's produced here in America. There's a reason. I'll talk about that.
Sure.
But so he took me up on his wing. He seen something in me immediately. I was like maybe 16.
Damn.
And you know, he used to come get me in a limo and you know, take me to his office and show me how to do things, prepare me for manhood. And what he said to me was, when you're early, you're on time. When you're on time, you're late.
You know what's
And when you're
interesting,
late,
Jonah?
you're fired.
You're fired. You know what's interesting, Jonah? I actually trained Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and that moniker was on the wall for years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All successful men go by a certain rules, and they all know it.
Yeah.
But the rest of the people don't know it. And I could tell you, we as melanated people, we always late.
Word.
We got to do better.
You're right.
We got to do better with that. But so he taught me that. He also taught me how to dress for interviews, how to dress for going for loans when you're first meeting someone. You know what I mean? He laid it all out for me, and I've used it my whole life.
Excellent. Excellent. So let me ask you a question, man. Oh, go ahead.
Let me go back to that food thing.
Sure. Go. Continue. Knock yourself out. Yeah.
The issue is they don't let us eat our own food that's produced here, because the food that's produced here is pure. The food that's produced here is not Monsanto farms. I'm talking about all the moms and pops and all that.
Yeah.
It's the food that we, as the Aboriginals, are used to eating, right? They can't have us eating our own native food. It would activate our DNA. So what they do is they ship food in from all over the world that's poisoned for us specifically. The food that we eat here is banned all over the world.
Yeah, I heard about that.
It's banned, right? So, boom, they take our good food and they ship it all over the world.
Yeah.
Now, the reason why they do that goes back to being a Moor. The Moors from right here, which we call the Americas, is really Tamari. Tamari is Egypt. The real name of this landmass is Tamari, or Egypt, from the Bible. We went all over the world teaching them architecture, culture, and it's called the caliphaship. Caliphaship means kingship. We showed them how to set up kingdoms. But by us doing that, we're the rightful owners of all kingdoms on most of the world. You got the Washita Moor case that went to the Supreme Court. They said the Washita, or the Moors of America, the ancient mound builders, are the oldest people on the planet. They said they own, America does not own anything in America. The mound builders, the Moors, Washita, one of the tribes of the Mohammedan nations, owned 1 million acres of land. 1 million acres is all the continent of the Americas, the islands, and half of Africa.
Damn.
Now, anytime they talk about an empire that big, they always tell you it was the Berberi Empire or the Byzantines. That's all Mohammedan nations. That's one thing. That's the Moorish Empire.
That's crazy.
So if we were to wake up, there'd be no China, no Russia. All the European nations, all the European nations we own. Only parts of Africa, the continent that we call Africa, we don't own all of Africa, because it's other nations of melanated people that own that. So we own majority of the world, is what I'm saying. So this is why you have people from all over the world that's colluding with the powers that be, white people, Asians, Indian, all of those are Asian people, by the way. All of them are Asian people.
Yeah, 100%.
And Neanderthal people, animals, motherfucking half monkey, rat, cat, dog. That's Neanderthal. I'm being scientific. I'm not
Okay.
No shade. No
Go
shade.
for it. Yeah.
So all those people colluded to keep us where we are now, because it will be bloody hell to pay when we wake up. And this is why they're all on a fake money system. Because all the gold and all that belongs to us, they had to pay in taxes. And they still got to pay it in gold and silver per all the treaties with the Moorish Empire.
Yeah.
That's still in effect.
I remember you said that a long time ago in one of your seminars. You were saying that when you authenticate and they try to collapse that shit, they have to give you a giant portion of it. Yeah.
Yes.
Damn.
So this is why they use what? Scripted paper, IOUs, because they have no money.
Right.
They can't use gold and silver. Now, the funny thing is, when they were excavating parts of the Grand Canyon, they found the hoard of gold that would collapse.
I heard about that.
The money system around the planet is too much gold.
I also heard there's a no-fly zone over the Grand Canyon too.
It is.
It's like giant bones and stuff like that.
Yeah,
I heard it's a lot of crazy stuff.
It's a lot because we called it in ancient times the land of the dead.
Word.
Yeah, you know what I mean? They had to hide all that stuff. It's so much down there, it's ridiculous, right? And it leads to the middle of the planet. And there's ancient cities down in the middle of the planet.
Bruh.
See, every time it was a catastrophe, we knew about it before it happened. We would go down to the ancient cities. So, people ask, well, how did tribes that wasn't Noah, Utasim was his name, that survived the flood, how did the rest of the people survive? They went underground.
Word, that makes sense.
The Ice Age went underground. Meteor storms, underground. The season for the tsunamis. See, it's certain bodies in the heavens that when they come, they cause all types of problems for the planet because the daggone bodies is bigger than our planet, 3-4 times bigger than. Plus, it got satellites, moons that's the size of this planet, all of that. So when that all comes in, the gravity, the pull, all of that causes all types of problems to happen on this planet, like the reverse of the magnetic fields, the ionic fields. It makes the heavens open. And when the heavens open, space opens, you know what happens? Water.
Yeah.
A bunch of water falls on the planet.
Word.
See, a lot of people don't realize these people ain't telling you the truth about what it is we live on, where we are, and all that. You can go to elementary school, you won't learn about the elements. You can go to high school and you won't learn that the elements is just a solar system. You can go to the university and you won't learn about the universe. See, we all had that. We taught those lessons. They don't. As above, so below. So when the so-called, they want to call it the firmament. It's not the firmament. The firmament, if you read the ancient stone tablets our ancestors left, they said the firmament was the asteroid belt. And that separated the waters of the higher planets from the waters of the lower planets. But all of it's in water. All of it's in water. Space is water.
Yeah, I 100% know that. Yeah.
Our ancestors said it's the primordial waters of noon.
Okay.
That all creation comes from. So the blackness is the black water that all life comes out of, right? Now, as above, so below. I'm going to drop a little information on universe and the universities, right?
Go for it. We here to learn, man.
And the periodic table, right? In your body, you got something that they call cells. And they got nucleus of the cell, right? You got protons, electrons, and neutrons. The proton is what you would call a central sun.
Right.
Electrons and neutrons are the bodies that flow around the nucleus of the cell.
Hmm.
Now, in that cell, it's nothing but water. Right? A bubble of water.
Okay.
But then when you get outside the cell is sitting in something called blood, which is another liquid, or the primordial water of noon. It's black. It's black. See? So then you got different bubbles or different cells that come together that makes what you would call an organ, or maybe a whole universe.
Okay.
Not a solar system, universes. A bunch of cells together or a bunch of solar systems together make a universe. That's how that thing works. The same thing that goes on in the universe is in your body.
In your body, right? How about that?
So
They said
the same shit applies. That's ancient knowledge from our ancestors.
They said the way when they were putting out the whole idea of space, the one interesting thing they did say, the way I think it was the way the brain waves function. If you look at it, it looks like the universe is what they were saying.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, so thanks for reminding me of that. So you got something called like the sun. The sun is a planet that can be lived on and is lived on.
Okay. Please educate.
Okay.
I'm down to learn, bro.
You got the Chronicles of Riddick. The movie Chronicles of Riddick. In the movie, he went and landed on the sun. And he said, we can't let this planet fall. If he fall, this is the sun for all the planets. The whole solar system would die. They showed you in the movie that a sun is lived on. But what kind of beings live on a sun? See, a sun is vibrating higher. It's a higher dimension.
Yeah, 100%.
Right? So what you see is light. Because of the higher vibrations, you see it as light. You feel it as heat, right? So when some sunbeam comes from that planet called the sun and comes down to a planet that is slower in vibration, like the Earth, you're going to see that person as an angel, a being of light.
Yeah.
Right? Now, or a messenger of God, the creator, right? Because who made all these planets in this solar system? The sun did.
Right, 100%. 100%.
Okay. Now, I'm going to break it down. I'm going to put it back into your body. You have something in your body called the brain, right? Your brain vibrates higher than any part of your body.
Facts.
Your brain sends signals or messengers of light to parts of your body.
100%. Yeah.
And that light beam or angel tells your fingers to move.
Word. Yo. Keep going.
As
yo.
above, so below.
So below. Word.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So the question would be, yo, who body we live in? And how big is this damn body? If our whole solar system ain't nothing but a cell, the whole universe ain't nothing but an organ. And hold on, how do you know we're not on the part of the body that's just a hair follicle?
Yo,
Which
I thought about
means
that
nigga, when he
multiple
cut
times.
his hair, when he cut his hair, it's a wrap.
About that.
It's a wrap when he cut his hair. How many billions and billions of galaxies are you getting rid of every time you groom?
Yo, that's deep, yo. Damn. and that could play into the whole. Now, do you believe in the multiverse also?
Of course.
Yeah, because with that said, with the follicle idea, it would have to be parallel universes then.
Because boom, so I ain't cutting my hair on the top of my head today. I'm cutting my beard. I got it wrapped up because the shit too long, right? I am gonna cut it soon. So I didn't cut off all them different galaxies and shit right here, but these parallel galaxies is living on. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
This is the type of stuff you got to think about. This is the type of stuff that's correct. But you got, now, here's the ill part. I talked about the middle of the earth as being hollow, right?
Yeah.
When you look at the nucleus of the cell, it spins around in a circle. The middle of the cell is empty. There's space in there. They said all the cells in the body got space. They're not even solid. Right? Known fact. So all creation is made up that same way. That same exact way.
That's crazy.
So these are the type of information that's in those stone tablets, right? But we're not reading them.
Yo, I need to get on that. What
the Numa
civilization had those?
I
knew it was multiple ones, but the ones you're talking about.
All of them. You got some called the Numa Leash. You got the epics of Gilgamesh. You got the Vedas, which is all the same, talking about the same people, but they named them different in the Indian culture or the Asian. See, the oldest Asian on the planet would be what we call the Red Dot Indians.
Yeah.
So they wrote down some of our stories of us and our ancestors, and they got it written in something called the Vedas, right? And these shits was written in cuneiform.
Cuneiform, yeah.
Which is considered the oldest
like the first
language
right?
on the planet.
Yeah, the first language, I believe.
It's considered heavenly script.
Okay.
It came from above.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Then you got well, it's been an argument lately about classical Hebrew or box Hebrew. They say cuneiform came from box Hebrew.
Interesting.
We don't know yet. We've never been able to decide and find out the truth about that. Now, if you ask me, I would say one part of the Anunnakis was talking one and the other one was talking the other. This is why you can't differentiate, and they both were able to talk, both of them.
Yeah.
Right. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. So there's a lot that we got to really learn. And, my mission is I'm going to soon be wrapping up teaching about that type of law. Yeah. I'm going to start talking about other laws and other things like what I call it the law of correspondence is what I was just breaking up down about the universe and all that.
Yeah, that's some good stuff, man. Absolutely. So let me ask you a question, Jonah, man. A fountain of knowledge, man. It's always a pleasure to have people on here who can just school us because I'm here to learn, brother. What got you started on this path, man? Just the path of seeking knowledge, learning law.
Well, the path of seeking knowledge was in me from day one.
Yeah.
And I always challenged all their knowledge from day one as a kid before I was even schooled, right? It was almost as if I was programmed to do it. I'm a Pisces, right? We're intuitive and all that. I came here with that personality.
Yeah.
And that thirst for knowledge. But then the first thing I started learning about was Jehovah's Witness. And they really were great at teaching me the Bible, right? Then after that, I jumped on into God and Earth. Then I moved over into Nuwabian Nation or Ansar Allah back then. I learned Arabic and Hebrew from Dr. York. Then I moved into Moorish knowledge. And then what got me into the law aspect was, I was one of the first people they hit with child support like crazy. Damn. And I tried to use the conventional way, hired lawyers and shit like that. It wasn't nothing they could do for me.
Yeah,
You know,
they
once
public. They officers of the court.
yeah, once they locked me up, I said, man, I'm never going back to being an engineer for NASA. I'm gonna figure this law shit out.
Right.
And then once I figured it out, I said, I'm gonna teach everyone this shit. Because we're suffering because of not knowing the laws.
Yeah.
So that's how I started. But I always had a thirst for the knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
I always asked questions like, hold on. Adam and Eve had 2 sons.
Same thing I asked.
Where'd his wife come from?
Same thing I asked.
I said, who's the people in Nod? Who's the people in Nod?
I asked
The
that
land of
exact
Nod.
same question.
And
I swear.
why they got gold and oxen and onyx, and why the fuck do they know what it is?
Yeah. Yeah.
And why would God, in the middle of creating the world, stop and say the onyx, gold, and this other metal called beryllium is good? Why would God care about all of that if he created it?
Mm-hmm.
It don't make no sense.
Yeah, a lot of question marks. But there was so many books that were pulled out of the Bible. It's ridiculous.
See, them books was pulled out of the stone tablets that have the true story.
Yeah.
They embellished it when they made the Bible and all that. And then any books that was dealing with aliens or angels, they took out.
Mm-hmm.
Like the book of Enoch and all that type stuff, they took that out. They ain't gonna deal with that.
Yeah. Yeah. It actually will say right on the back of, I think it was on the back of a few Bibles, or maybe it was the company website, that they actually pulled some of the books out to help with printing or something like that, or sales. But it's like, yo, like, you cannot go strictly on a Bible that has been gutted. That's just not even doing yourself a service.
The Bible of Geneva, all it do is tell you that all of this happened to the Moors. They name you as Moors because that's when it was us that controlled everything. So it wasn't hidden that these people were black. King James book didn't hide it either, but when they did revisions, they started taking the information out and started adding on stuff to mentally enslave us, to make us believe we came from Africa.
Yep. Same thing I tell people on this channel. Yeah.
Now, according to the stone tablets, people ain't gonna like me saying this, but according to the stone tablets, the people in Africa was the slaves that had to work the mines for precious metals for the Anunnakis, and those people were clones.
Whoa, hold on. You gotta rewind that, yo. Rewind that back one more time, brother.
Those people were clones.
Okay.
They were various clones of certain gods that needed spare parts.
Yo,
if something happened to them. Now, also, they cloned them because they made a perfect clone for mining, right? Now, did you ever know that 2 black Africans can make a white baby?
Yes, I saw it.
Blonde hair, blue eye?
Yeah.
Because they're clones. Yeah. They're called the Tamahu. Tamahu means the created ones. So all these other people on the planet are Tamahus. You got Tamahus, and then you got people who are descendants of the gods or the Elohim. The American people were considered Elohims. That's why we got the God blood called the universal blood, the haplogroup that's older than any other people.
Yeah.
On the planet. That's how they determined that the Washita and all of them was the oldest people on the planet. It's already Supreme Court ruling.
Is the Supreme Court ruling on that?
Yeah.
The Washita, you said?
The mound builders, and then they called them the Washita, or the Moors, the Washita, oldest people on the planet. Supreme Court ruling.
It's WACICHITA.
Mm-hmm.
I figured that's what it was. So the Washita that's a tribe, correct?
It's just a tribe. See,
Yeah.
but they were the ones who went to court So they just named them.
Word. I gotta look at that. I didn't know anything about that. Okay.
I 2 weeks ago I put it on the air on one of my shows on Jonah Bey radio.com, and I showed them that we own half the planet. I proved it. Here's the Supreme Court case. This is who they said, Moors. So I asked the question, how come it don't say Israelites, Hebrew Israelites, or anything? I'm like, you got to understand, to be a Hebrew was a tribe.
Yeah.
Just like any other so-called Indian tribe, right? It was tribes, right? But the actual government was Moors.
Yeah.
The people in charge. Now, in the Bible, those people as angels. Why? Oh, you didn't know all the Moors that was written about in the Bible? They called them angels. They called it Mikael, Gabriel, Uri, See, but they put the word together.
They put it
and
together
called it
so
Gabriel.
Yo, that's crazy.
Gabriel. No, that's not the name.
Damn.
We, as Moors, it was the school of thought. It was called the school of Tahuti. We became Elohim, one of the gods, when we passed all our lessons. And we became one of the Elohims. So Moors are the school of Elohim. This is why you're talking to me, and I'm a true representation of a Moor.
Yeah.
And I'm so versatile and so well knowledged on all of it.
Yeah.
Any subject, it don't matter.
Facts. Word. Hey, I'm speechless, bro. Damn, you said that. So yeah, you were saying that once they passed all of their lessons, they earned the title as Elohim, basically.
Right. And then as an Elohim, your job was to learn how to become an Etherean. Etherean is an ascended being. He gives up his physical body and becomes a light body. And with that light body, he can live on the sun. You can't live on it now. You can't survive all the frequencies that it puts out. The same way white people can't survive the frequency of the sun just being on this planet.
Word. Yeah.
But when you're up high enough in vibration, we talking about your molecules move so damn quick. You're invisible.
So that's okay. That makes sense. So that's what they
You're
mean by like
to anyone like us.
Yeah, the next dimension basically is how
it's another dimension.
Your molecules vibrating faster.
Yes.
Dang, I never thought about that.
Yes.
Okay. I never thought about I always heard about,
solid.
dimensions piled on top of each other, but you can't see what's happening right in front of you. But that's only because you're at a different dimension because your molecules aren't vibrating
out
fast
of phase. They're out of phase and we're out of phase. We're not out of phase for them.
No, they can see
They're
us, right?
out of phase for us.
Yeah.
Their molecules move so fast that they're literally invisible to us.
So that's what spirits and everything basically are.
Exactly. Because the body for us never dies. We transform into different dimensions, different phases. So if you have a third dimension, which some say we still are, I say we're a little higher now. But when that happens, you seem more solid. When your vibrations go higher, you become more light, airy, taller, bigger, giant.
Yeah. Yep.
It expands. All of this stuff is broken down in them stone tablets. That's what I'm saying. See, we have never been taught what our ancestors said. We've always been taught what the powers that be said.
Absolutely. Yeah,
now, would it shock you to know that we see the white man as the person in control of the planet? He's not. It's Moors.
Okay.
It was a Moor. It was the spirit of Cain and Abel. Cain wanted to kill and destroy his brother. So you got a certain faction of Moors that hid all the ancient information while they kept it. And they rule in disguise by using the proxy called the white man today. Now, they showed you in a movie, did you see Django?
Yeah, I saw it.
You didn't peep it though.
Probably not.
Let me show you.
Yeah.
Do you remember how the show opened? How the movie opened?
I remember he was on a carriage or something. Or maybe he was being.
That ain't how it opened.
Nah, I haven't seen it in years.
Okay, I'm gonna say it and then you tell me if you remember.
All right.
The first scene of the movie is there's somebody who's sitting at a desk drinking scotch, has a cigar, and he's signing checks and counting money. When they zoom back, it's Samuel L. Jackson.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
So then, why do you think Samuel L. Jackson was the last person that had to die in the movie?
Break that down, man.
He was the villain.
Well, Samuel Jackson?
The villain,
yeah,
always has to fight the hero. That's the last fight.
Yeah, yeah.
All right. Now, if you go peep and watch the movie again, first of all, the fucking plantation was called Candyland.
I remember that.
You know good and damn well that's the name of a black man strip club. All right. Samuel Jackson was running around smacking every fat booty chick on the ass, talking about, I'm going to hit that tonight. You remember that?
I do remember him saying that, yeah.
Okay. Samuel Jackson determined if you get strung up and hung on the tree or killed.
That's actually true, yeah.
It showed you in the movie, right?
Yeah.
He determined if you went down in the hole in the ground and stayed there all day.
Hold on. Are you saying that he was the plantation owner?
Hold on, I'm getting there. I'm getting there. I am saying that. So then he said, when the white boy who was supposed to be the owner, he said, I raised him and his father.
Damn, I didn't catch that. I was seeing
Go
it
back and see. Go back and look now that I'm telling you the clue, right? Samuel Jackson was that boy's grandfather or great-grandfather. See, Samuel Jackson had white slaves in the beginning and had kids with the white slaves until they turned white. That's called amalgamation.
Amalgamation. Damn.
Right? So the third generation turns out white, completely white, right?
Yeah.
So that was his great-great-grandchild or grandchild. I think it was great-great, right? Of course it was his plantation. Because this is America belonged to black people. We were the biggest slave owners. The original slaves are white people. Right?
Yeah. That makes sense to why he was counting money and cutting checks.
I'm trying to tell you.
So then that never dawned on me.
Yes. And he was the main nigga that was mad seeing Django on a horse.
On that horse. He was pissed.
Who that nigga on that nag on my land?
Yo, he did say on my land.
Yeah.
Mind blown, bro.
Yeah. See, when you really know the history, you could see what they showing you. So there's Moors in the background hiding, using the white man as the face while they do all the deviltry. Anything that went wrong on that plantation, Samuel Jackson did it, not the white boy. The white boy was a fuck up. Samuel Jackson said he wasn't even in control of no money. Remember when he was trying to sell Hildy, he was like, you ain't doing nothing.
I don't remember that part, nah.
They was trying to buy Hildy.
The chick that he wanted, the wife, right?
The wife from him, and he said, hell no.
I do remember he said hell no, Yeah, I remember that part.
That's how all the beef happened. Because then he killed the white boy. Schultz. He killed him. Shot him.
Uh-huh. Yeah, the other white dude shot him.
Yeah. With
the hand cannon.
Yeah. Go back and watch the movie now.
I'm gonna watch
Now
that shit
I
tonight. Yo, word, yo.
You're gonna see and you're gonna be like, oh shit.
You know what's crazy, Jonah? I actually haven't watched that movie since I've been on the quest for the knowledge, and I've been doing it for a little over 2 years. So I'm still learning a lot. It's a lot I don't know yet, but I'm still getting busy. But yo, when I'm starting to watch these movies back, I'm seeing them with a whole nother set of eyes.
You have to. It's been a lot of lies. It's been a lot of lies.
Yeah. That's crazy. So when I saw Thor, the latest Thor movie, there was a lot of symbolism in that. Like when Thor went to the what was it, the realm of the gods or something like that, and everybody was all happy. I saw that pretty much as the private. But then when he went to that dead planet to fight the villain, he was in color, but everything else was black and white.
Yes.
So that basically, to me, stated that he was the living man, or basically in godhood, God status, which is what we are. And he was crossing over into this public from a public.
What it was to me, what it was showing was the villain wanted to go back to a black paradigm. He wanted to bring it back to melanation, where Thor wanted to keep everything colorful.
Okay.
You know, you being black, them being white, color law.
Shit.
You know what I mean?
Colorful.
The villain wanted everything to say, yo, black and white, no other, none of this gray shit. Either it's this or it's this, and that's the way it's gonna be. Go back to the old ways.
Yeah.
See, we as Moors, that's what we're saying. Shit got to go back to the old ways. In other words, none of this bullshit where not knowing the law is no excuse. Teach everyone the law. If you want motherfuckers to obey the law, teach you.
Yeah, 100%. Agree with that.
You know what I mean? You could put that as a class in elementary school. But you're going to punish us for not knowing the law? Come on. Yeah. And then when someone like me is out there trying to teach, what they do, block me.
Petty.
And I'm like, yo, I'm not even teaching ancestral knowledge yet. I'm only teaching their own law books.
That's stuff that's already out there.
Yeah. It's on the internet. All of it's on the internet.
Yeah. Google
it. It's all their stuff. And the funny thing is, I know their stuff more than they do.
Dude, listen, I actually, a lot of people on my Instagram saw that I just got pulled over earlier, and they had me stop for like almost, it was an hour. And I'm going, dude,
you need an injunction.
You know what's crazy, Jonah? I actually did the Supreme Injunction.
See, that's where you fucked up. Let me ask you something. You did the super injunction.
Yeah, so not the Supreme Injunction. My bad.
What comes first, injunction or super injunction?
The injunction. Yeah.
Did you do the regular injunction?
I did the super injunction.
That's where you fucked up. Yo, you can't go from kindergarten to the 6th grade. It wasn't for you to do a super injunction. You had to do a regular injunction first. How the hell are you going to get on the do not detain list for the rest of all of America if you didn't first get on the injunction list or the do not detain list for where you live?
Thanks.
A lot of people make that mistake. They trying to jump ahead. You can't jump ahead. But the problem is a lot of people are learning from my students instead of getting it directly from me, where I could tell you how you got to do it.
Yeah. I actually got the you guys had sent me something where it was the passport information, and it was the webinar you did, and it was the injunction paperwork and all that stuff, the super injunction paperwork. So I had all that, but I was unaware you needed to do the regular injunction first. So that
was one of the first webinars I did and taught.
True. Okay.
Just like the first thing was either you did an injunction first or you did authentication first. I
Got
don't
you.
really care which one you do first.
Got you. Okay.
You know what I mean? Because the rest is a foundation of that. That's the foundation right there. That's the roots. And the reason why it's the roots, like authentication, right? So a lot of people don't know this. It's a treaty in a congressional record that's called expatriation and etc. In there, it talks about a Moor of the Moorish Empire cannot have nationality paperwork or protection from any nation with a treaty with the Moorish Empire. Now, you see the problem. The birth certificate is nationality paperwork. Did you know that?
Nationality paperwork? Yeah. I was pretty sure about that. Yeah.
And you know the Social Security number is protection because it's old age insurance.
Hmm.
Yeah. Originally, that's how they pushed it on the people. Oh, we're giving you old age insurance. So when you're too old to work, we're going to give you money if you put a little money in the system now.
Retirement.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, boom, you can't do that and be a Moor of the Moorish Empire. Right? So, you had to take on a new name and never attach that new name to the birth certificate or the social.
Mm-hmm.
That's true nationality, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, you know, Moorish science temples all day, every day is teaching y'all get a new name and put that new name on the social and the birth certificate.
Hell
That's
no.
part of their
That don't even make sense though.
yeah,
That's
all you're
mixed with
doing is
public and
creating
private.
another straw man. But I'm
Right.
telling you, that's all they teach.
Yeah, that don't make sense at all.
They even said, this is R.V. Bey said, you can be a Moor and collect welfare. Because they teach that lie that you part and parcel.
Mm-hmm.
You're not part and parcel of the American government. The Moorish Empire existed way before there was anything ever called the American government,
Yes, it
and
was.
always will exist.
Yep.
So the first in time, first in line, the first one will always exist. I'm just saying, that's equity, right? So where did they get that from? I think it was the people who infiltrated the Moorish Science Temple that said we're part and parcel.
Yeah.
We're not, and never will be. I just
Agents.
told you a treaty that says it can't happen. I can show you treaty after treaty after treaty that'll tell you that's not true. And they can't show me one law where it says it's true. They just made it up.
Yeah.
And I hear them all regurgitate it. See, you got to realize Moorish science temples all across America is infiltrated. It's not the people with the true spirit of Moors that rules those. So the proper instructions aren't being put out.
Mm.
Right now, it ain't nothing but a religion.
Damn. Sheesh.
They also teach you must have a civic duty. Civic duty. Here's the problem with that. And they'd be like, yeah, we're teaching y'all civics, right?
Mm-hmm.
The problem is, just look up the word civic. Civic, define. Relating to a city or town, especially the administration, relating to the duties or activities in relation to what you owe your government. Meaning, civic is relating to a citizen, a city, a citizenship, community affairs, and how to use it and what you owe to a government. Dog, it's enslaving you. I don't need no one to tell me what I owe to the government. The government, I'm supposed to be above the government.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
In other
It'll
words,
say that in any state constitution, honestly.
no, it doesn't. Exactly. So to teach someone civics is to teach them how to be a citizen of the government of the United States. It's hidden in the words.
That's simple.
Now, you don't have to believe me. You can and they love to talk about this resolution. Resolution 75 out of Philadelphia. It tells you, if you read it for real, that Moorish organization sold out all the Moors and made them United States citizens. And then the
Somebody
United
said
States,
that.
yeah, they got the lesson from me. I've been teaching it for years.
Resolution 75.
Yes. Hold on. I'm going to break it down for you. I'm going to pull it up, break it down.
Let me see if I can pull that up in my Black's Law. Do you think that'd be in Black's Law, Jonah?
Nah, you just got to Google Resolution 75.
All right, bet. Let me see if I can pull it up here, right here. I'm so enamored. I usually pull stuff up right on the screen and then share it. Resolution 75. Philadelphia, right?
Yep.
All right. House Resolution 75?
Yep.
I'm going to pull it right up here, man. Hold on.
It was done in 1933.
Yep, I got you. I'm going to pull it up. Let me know if you can see this.
Not yet.
All right. See it now?
I see it on the screen. You know I can't read it, right?
Hold on. I'm trying. I got to enlarge it.
Well, even if you enlarge it, I'm on the phone. I'm not on.
Gosh.
I'm not on my computer, so
they're not letting me click it.
I know. Try to click another one.
All right. Here we go.
I had the same issue. It wouldn't open.
Yeah, they don't want people to know this shit.
Okay, Resolution 75 and do PDF.
Can you see that?
Yeah, that's the one I'm looking for.
Okay. Legislative Journal House piece.
All right, I found it. All right, so check it. It's short. I'm going to break it down for you right now.
All right.
Mr. Wilkin, Mr. Speaker, I desire at this time to call up resolution number 75, printer's number 1034. The resolution was read by the clerk as follows. In the House of Representatives, April 17th, 1933, many sons and daughters of that proud and handsome race, which inspired architecture of Northern Africa and carried into Spain the influence of its artistic temperaments, have become citizens of this nation. So they just told you that Moors went into Northern Africa and Spain and showed them how to do architecture and all of that. And it said became citizens of this nation. In the city of Philadelphia, there exists a Moorish American society made up of Moors who have found here the end of their quest for home. Dog, they just said that they were looking for their home and they found it there in Philadelphia because they came from there. And the children of those who journey here from the plains of Morocco. So they just told you they came from the mountainous regions and the lower regions of Morocco and came up to Philadelphia. Right?
Okay.
So we talk about it's all on the North American continent.
Right.
Then it says, this society has done much to bring about a thorough absorption by these people. Do you know what the word absorption means?
Absolutely.
To pull them in. To make them a part of. Right? But let me go on. By these people of those principles which are necessary to make them what? Good American citizens. So they're not going to be Moors no more. They're going to be American citizens. These Moorish Americans have since being here missed the use of titles and names and annexations that were so familiar at home and which used in accordance with the doctrines of religious faith to which they adherents, therefore be it resolved that this House commends the Moorish American Society of Philadelphia for the efficient service it has rendered the nation in bringing about a speedy and thorough Americanization of these former Moors. The Moorish Science Temple made them American citizens and made them into former Moors.
That's crazy.
That's what it says. I ain't making it up. It says that. So that's what the Moorish Science Temple today is doing too. But let me go on. So that's America giving the Moorish Society of Philadelphia props for making them American citizens.
Sheesh.
Of these former Moors, that in accordance with the fullest right of religious independence guaranteed every citizen, we recognize also the right of these people to use the name affixes El Ali Bey and any other prefix suffix which they have herefore been accustomed to use and which they hereafter acquire the right to use. So it just broke down that these people are former Moors and they only get to use El Bey Ali Day for religious purposes, not as titles of nobility. This is why I'm going to show y'all how to do the treaty injunction that's actually going to make y'all Moors by making it a title of nobility again.
Damn. So they basically sold the people out then. The
Yes.
Moors. Yo.
This is the proof. And the shit that kills me is Moors of the Moorish Science Temple talk about this shit like it's a good thing.
Yeah. No.
Because they, yo, you know what the problem is? We were taught by the white man in school, right? Did you know that most Americans are illiterate?
Yeah.
Which means they know how to read the words.
They can't comprehend it.
They can't comprehend. Reading is comprehension.
That's facts. 100%.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I usually got to read stuff a few times before I grasp it, to be honest with you.
That's not being able to read. But
holy shit. I thought I had some kind of intelligence. I guess not.
the more you were trained that way.
Yeah.
You were trained that way. So the more you read and the more words you look up, the more you're going to comprehend.
100%. Yeah.
Now, I didn't say nothing that wasn't in the document. Mm-hmm. But people have read this and didn't get the meaning that I got. But it's there.
100%. Dang. And it was 1930. Isn't it funny that everything happened in 1933?
Mm-hmm.
Like, 33. That's that number again. 1933. There was a lot of
They
goofiness.
made this in 1933 to say that these people that was down with Noble Drew Ali, they weren't Moors. They were just acting like Moors. Or they were former Moors. Former means you're not that anymore. So you only look like a Moor, but you're not a Moor.
That's crazy.
That's a problem.
Absolutely.
Now, that's everyone that's in the Moorish Science Temple.
You said you got something for that, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Word. That's what it is. We creeping up on an hour and 20 minutes, man. This has been an excellent lesson, dude. Anybody who wants to, I guess, would you mind doing a Q&A? Somebody come on and ask one question. All right. Y'all can do your Q&A now. Y'all ask Jonah Bey, the God, any advice you may have, may need, or any questions you may have. Please post them now, and I'll see what I can do to pull them up. Salute Jonah Bey. Peace to the gods.
Peace to God.
In Jonah Brenton's architectural textbook, he clearly states that Westminster's Abbey was built by the Moors.
Facts.
Philadelphia, and that's the problem, is that people keep relating Tartarians to white-skinned people. It's not even true that Tartarians are the Moors.
Exactly.
You know what's interesting? I heard the same thing about Tartarians being like very light skinned and blue
They
eyes.
always want to whitewash. Now,
Yeah.
we had slaves there, right?
Mhm.
So you had people that were there that was white or light skinned and Asian. They were just slaves, though.
Mhm.
But
Yep,
they
and straight.
weren't the rulers.
They weren't the rulers. Absolutely. Yep, and straight within the Constitution, too, it states that there can be no titles of nobility given. Is good stuff.
Okay, now I'm glad you brought that up. Because as a Moor, you're not under the Constitution. Under the Moor, the supremacy clause, the treaties of the Moors are superior to all constitutions.
Go there first.
The Treaty of Marrakesh is the treaty that established them, all of them, to let them even be here in America to do commerce. It was the Sultan that gave so-called English people his dominions to do commerce. As I said again, that's why March 19th, I'm doing the treaty injunction that's going to show y'all all of that. Y'all have rights, but y'all got to find out about the rights that y'all have.
Man, plug your website, bro. Because listen, if y'all watching this and y'all want more of this heat from Jonah Bey, he has a website. He's got hundreds of documents, plenty of research. I've listened to his webinars. I've done a lot of research on his stuff, and it's legit. It works.
My website is jonahbey.com. You can check out the videos I got on YouTube. It's called Jonah Bey. Just Google Jonah Bey on YouTube. You can go and listen to my archives on soundcloud.com and put in Jonah Bey archive or Jonah Bey. It'll come up. Patreon, Jonah Bey. Everything is Jonah Bey.
Yep. There you go. That's simple. All right. So Social Church had a question. So what would be the best way to declare your nationality as a Moor? The proper way opposed to claiming your birthrights at the temple?
Okay. Noble Drew Ali said, take on a new name and do business in a new name. So what you got to do is you got to Google adult name change for your county in your state, right? When you get that form, then you want to get a consultation with me, Jonah Bey, where I'm going to give you the proper declaration of nationality. See, your nationality got to be based on the treaty. And you got to call yourself a certain names that's in the treaties. If not, you're not the same people. Let me give you an example. In the treaty, your religion was Muslim. I said it right. I did not make a mistake. Y'all call it Muslim, and all that. It's Muslim. Your ancestors said they were Muslim, right? And the various nations that was under the Moorish Empire were called Mohammedan nations. Mohammedan nations. And all the treaties were written in Arabic and translated into English. Now, the reason why y'all don't know the Peace and Friendship Treaty is called the Treaty of Marrakesh, because you would have to know how to speak Arabic or Hebrew or Latin, right? Jonah learned how to speak Hebrew and Arabic by Dr. York 40 years ago. So I went to the Library of Congress. It's a certain part that's got all our history as Moors in it.
But the
But
one
you
in
are
DC?
not allowed in DC, the Library of
I
Congress.
heard they boxed
You
that
are
off.
not. Let me finish the
My
statement.
bad, yo. Go ahead, yo. My bad. Go ahead, yo.
You're not allowed to go into that part unless you speak one of those languages, Arabic, Hebrew, or Latin. Since I can, I went in and got the original documents. Now, on those original documents, let me say, they changed the dates. In Arabic, the date on the Treaty of Marrakesh is I for Idoni or Idonis. That means Jesus. 202. The crackers, the white boys, put 1770s, whatever. Yo, y'all are still in biblical times. And that same date corresponds with all the treaties, y'all. This is why they don't want you to see the Arabic version. The Arabic version reveals way more information.
Word.
So they translate it for you and take stuff out. Just like they did the Bible. Now, what was you saying, brother?
I was saying I know a dude, actually two of them. They've been doing it longer than me. They used to go to the Library of Congress in D.C. I'm out here in Baltimore, so we literally about an hour away. So
Right.
they go up there, and they said it used to be open, and then they went up there again not too long ago, and they said the shit was boxed off, like they had it like a giant fence or something that was there, or whatever. They were like, yeah, you can't go up there now. What you mean we can't go up there?
All government buildings are closed to the public now.
Well, that's interesting because they were going to let us go in the Library of Congress about 4 months ago, but maybe
4 months ago, it was sort of open. It wasn't at full capacity.
Yeah, that's true.
They never really all the way opened ever again after COVID.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know. At one point they was like, "Yo, you got to call to make a reservation to come in."
Yep.
I'm like, we came all the way down. I'm like, why the fuck do I have to call to make a reservation to do some research in the freaking lab?
Because we as Moors, I've done more damage with all their documents. And I got the congressional record. I got them from the Library of Congress, so it can't be disputed.
Mm-hmm. Damn. How can one man have all that power? Damn. All right, we got another question here. What do you know about the Moors being Tartarians? He already answered that. Let me see. Peace, Jonah. Where can I find your info? That 0% is teaching. He did give thanks to you in the beginning of his book.
Go to SoundCloud.com and put in search Jonah Bey. All my archives and all that. That's where he got it from. He went and searched my archives. He's still in there. He's still stealing mad processes from me. I just did January 1st, I did something called a tax injunction where no one has to pay taxes ever again. Taxes are slavery.
That's why they get ready to get rid of the IRS too.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Literally, like weeks later, like the IRS is about to be out of
Exactly. So he got on that webinar, all that, stole the information. Now he's offering that information to y'all. He's a fucking bootlegger. And sooner or later, I'm about to sick all my listeners on him, and we're going to harass the shit out of him and write all on every form that he has. That's not his information. He stole it. Because it's not right. That's some dirty Moor shit.
That's fair. That's fair, man. Do what you got to do. 100%. Could be going after him a different way.
He runs around and tells everyone, I'm his mentor, I'm his teacher. I don't know this dude from a can of paint.
Capping. All right. He just answered this. Do I need to do a UCC1? He already answered that. I'm not even going to put him through answering that again. UCC does not work according to what he said. Which American tribes were not derived by Moors? That's a good question. Take your time, son.
You said it's a good question. I think it's a kind of
maybe it's not. I thought
this is Egypt, y'all. This is Egypt that's talked about in the Bible. I want y'all to pick up a book. The book is called When Rocks Cry Out by Horace Butler.
When rocks cry out.
He's going to prove to you America is the Egypt of the Bible. We were already here. We were already named different tribes by us spreading out from when we started taking the genealogy from our ancestors that came from the sky. That's why it was called Genesis or genealogy. We were always in different tribes, and they all originated from the skies above. Now, I told y'all earlier, the Asians in all them tribes originated from us experimenting and creating slave workers or clones because we had a huge climax on the planet and we had to rebuild. We needed people. We cloned them. We genetically made them from cat, rat, dog, pig, all that shit. And they got fur. To this day, they don't have hair. It's fur. And they don't derive from us. They don't derive from Moors. Well, technically, they do derive from Moors because let me say this. When we did the cloning and techniques to create them, we had to use our own sperm, and it was incubated into a Moorish woman, right? Called Niti, or a god called Niti, mother of all life. And so they got some of our genetics, but they got a fraction of what y'all have, right? So even they were derived from Moors, but not, sexually.
Yeah. Oh, I thought you was gonna, I thought you was going. I thought you were still
I'm
rocking.
cleaning the nuts out my teeth.
My bad, yo. I don't want to cut you off because you going in too hard. Yeah, rock out.
I guess that was the last question.
I'm trying to find another one. Hold on. Let me see. Is it possible?
Neanderthal man. Neanderthal was not derived directly from our lineage.
Is it possible to discharge student loans even though the Supreme Court has this issue pending? And if you opt out of a class action lawsuit, do I still have the statutes of limitation because of the rules? Thus, they rules.
First of all, I gotta say, you're using other people's information. You're not actually using the actual law. Now, I'm doing a class here in Atlanta on the 26th of February. And it's called the Discharge Seminar, a discharge injunction. By law, they have to discharge your bill, but you got to learn the laws to enforce it from me, right? Now, the problem is I'm only teaching it this one time.
It's not a webinar. You got to actually
seminar.
go. Yeah,
you got to actually
I'm
go.
gonna get down there today. I'm definitely going to that.
Right? Now, let me explain something to you to give you an idea of my info and how I'm different than a lot of people and teachers, right? When you ask people, how do you have the right to discharge? No one explains it to you. So I'm going to explain it to you right now. 1933. The federal government was in trouble. They were bankrupt. They owed creditors money and they didn't have money to pay them. At that time, they was paying everything in gold and silver according to the Constitution, right? So what the American government did was call on the American people to give up all their gold and silver, and they received the IOU. Y'all know them as Federal Reserve Notes. They didn't give you treasury notes because treasury notes would have had to be, according to the Constitution, backed by gold and silver. So you became America's creditor when you handed in all your gold and silver. So by you doing that, they had to give you consideration.
Yep.
Consideration meant that America became the obligator. They are obligated, and all debt or money is an obligation of the United States. They have to pay. There's many laws out there that tells you that, but you didn't comprehend it, right? So, being that they have to pay your bills because you loaned them the money, that's what y'all call discharge. But you got to have a comprehension, an understanding of it. You got to comprehend it. Most people don't comprehend shit, so they can show you a discharge process, but you have no way of enforcing it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm going to show you exactly how to enforce it and what laws to use.
February 26th. You better be there because I am.
Atlanta, Georgia.
Atlanta, Georgia. Yeah. All right.
Now, the reason why I'm not doing it as a webinar, because I'm tired of people like 0% guy and the rest of the guys get on my webinars, learn, and then act like it's theirs. And they act like agents when they do that because they water down the information. I want y'all to have the proper information. And also, all the studying shit I do, I want my credit.
Absolutely.
And I feel like they enslaving me when I do the work and they make money off of it. Mm-hmm. And they didn't do no work. So I'm not putting that out.
That's respectable. All right, let me see here. That's why all the Russian crowns and swords of the old time were written in Arabic. That makes sense too. Hey, so ain't nobody got no questions. People just talking. Acknowledgement.
Yeah, I'm used to that.
Oh, here we go.
Teaching people get quiet. They listen and they add on.
That's disrespectful, hip hop lit. That's the equivalent of disrespect right there. You can't do that. No, absolutely not. I'm not even going to ask him to respond to that. No, he's not associated with I Self-Law and Master.
My God. He is another nigga that steals all my processes and makes money and teaches y'all wrong. It's a bunch of them. And he tells everyone he's my student. Now, I have met him before. He used to come to a bunch of seminars, right? I have even did he paid me to do a lecture for 1 hour, and I went only because he has a huge following on social media. I went there to take some of those people.
Fair. That's fair.
Because I couldn't get nothing else from them.
Yeah, that's fair. All right. What's the series? Okay, this is a good one. I guess this is a solid one. What's the first series of documents do you need to implement to correctly separate yourself from the U.S.? I already did my birth certificate authentication, and I did the moonshine still version of getting your passport.
That moonshine version of getting your passport didn't do shit for you. Because I got a couple of guys. Unfortunately, they were drug dealers. One was white, one was black. They didn't work together, two different occasions, right? And they had gotten that passport, and they was like, I'm a national of the state. And they thought they wasn't going to get locked up. They in jail right now. They've been in jail for the last 5 years. And I told them it wasn't going to work. And they didn't listen to me. Because they didn't understand that if you read the charter of, let's say, the charter of Georgia, it tells you every citizen of the state of Georgia is a slave.
Get the fuck out of here.
In the charter. You got to be a Moor and be above that. Now, the simple answer would be if you get on my webinar, March 21, when I do the treaty injunction, you will be outside of America. You will be listed as a Moor with a title of nobility. And you will have diplomatic immunity across most of the planet because the Moors own it.
And what date is this one? Break it down again.
March 21st. I mean, March 19th. My bad. March 19th.
And this is a webinar?
This is going to be a webinar.
All right, that's what we're looking for. So I'm gonna have a busy 2-month schedule ahead of me. Absolutely.
Right. See, I've been busy, man. You're actually the 4th interview I've done.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I don't know. Lately, interviews is coming back to back to back to back. So I'm taking it. Y'all like my presence on social media.
Yeah. I learn a lot from you every time I listen, man. And I'm always listening whenever
you know
I
what's
can.
crazy, but a lot of people say that, and I'm like, yo, the attention span of people is so short. I had to dumb it down to about an hour.
Yeah, yeah. When I do
and
my
they
3
like,
hours,
yo, they acting like they learned more in that 1 hour than when I was doing 3-hour shows.
Really? Damn, that's crazy.
It's crazy. But the difference is I'm also much better than I was. So I can teach a lot in 45 minutes.
Respect.
All right, if it's no more questions, then
and my man gotta go, man. My man gotta go.
I'm peckish. If y'all can't tell, I'm peckish. I'm kind of hungry.
Yeah, my man's gotta go. All right, look, John, I ain't gonna ask no more out of you, man. You gave us an hour and 40 minutes of straight fire. Learned a lot. Thank you so much, man.
Thank you.
Hey, look, man.
This is no Masonic shit. It's saying love and peace.
Word, like love and peace.
Hand on my heart. You feel me? And it goes back to ancient times of our ancestors.
Facts.
So stop letting them show you our ancestral shit and y'all call it, oh, he a Mason. I'm not a Mason.
There you go. Me either. That's 2 of us.
Right.
Absolutely. Well, look, I'm gonna let you go ahead and rock because I know you got stuff to do, man. Thank you so much for tuning in.
Everybody peace. I enjoyed it.
Yes, indeed. Please go over to JonahBey.com, man. Give my man some support. Hit him up with a donation. This man just give y'all some straight fire. He got trust documents, how to set up a trust. My man has super injunction. All by law. Regular injunction. He's got some fire on his website. All them questions y'all be asking me, I don't got answers to. That man has the answer right there. So get over there, man, and give my man some support. Give him some love. He just gave you an hour and 42 minutes of free game. You know what I mean? Thank you so much, Jonah Bey. Thank you all for tuning in.
Peace to the gods.
Peace to the God. Yes, indeed. So we are out of here, man. Hope y'all enjoyed the show. It is A6, the Foreign National Born Natural. I will have that stop video uploaded pretty soon. Y'all gotta look out for that. That's coming out pretty soon. And then let's get with the movement. All right, y'all take it easy. Peace.